Welcome everybody, this is McTune, but you don't see me because my camera decided to not work, even though Jin can see me. I don't know how that's the case. It's working on, so in case you're wondering, there's a debate. I'll figure this out. There's a debate between myself and Jin. Jin is here.
Good morning, and good afternoon, and good evening, all you beautiful people on the flat earth. Jin CBR1 here to rock your world.
All right, and I'm gonna fix my for whatever reason it is that nobody can see me. I'm gonna fix it here. So okay. Jin, why don't you tell us all about yourself a little bit.
Okay, I'll do a 5-minute introduction. Is that okay?
Yes. Hopefully I can get it figured out.
I'm just going to time that out now. Okay, here we go. 5 minutes starting now. Okay, well, my name is Jin CBR1. I was born in London in 1961, and I lived there up until the age of 38. I left London 1999. I've come to Japan, where I teach English now, and I've been doing that for 23 years now. Okay, I'm a jack of all trades, master of some. And I started researching the moon landing hoax in 2002. Fast forward to 2014, and flat Earth videos were being recommended in my recommendation bar. And it wasn't until Boxing Day of 2015 that I decided to look into that, because I thought it was silly that people were uploading flat Earth videos. I thought it was ridiculous, and I clicked on one for a laugh, and I meant literally laughing as I'm clicking it, but within 60 seconds I wasn't laughing. I felt a complete fool, inadequate in doing research. I felt like Tom and Jerry when he turns into an ass. So 3 minutes in, I realized that I'd made an error, and I spent 8 hours that day researching flat Earth. And I'd come to the conclusion that I'd made a big error, and I informed my family immediately. So that's how I got into the flat Earth. And I'm here today to discuss the heliocentric model and all the anomalies and flaws, and how that leads us to the flat Earth. And then hopefully in the second topic matter will be the moon landings and how they never happened. That's what I feel, it's what I know. Moon landings could never have happened, not according to the astronomers and the cosmologists and the theoretical physicists and astronomers alike telling us about the environment of supposed space. How did NASA overcome these problems? And there are many to discuss, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so that's basically it. I'm going to be discussing the heliocentric model and its anomalies, of course, and how it leads to flat Earth, and the moon landing hoax. NASA has lied to us, as well as our teachers. Okay, so I've still got 2 minutes here, so let me explain. Basically, we go back to elementary school, and we are taught about the heliocentric model, where we're taught about the globe. The Earth is a globe. Now we're 8 years old, 7, 8, or 9, and at that time we're not thinking about asking the question, because we are learning. We're there to learn. It's a learning experience. Our teachers have all the answers. They have the knowledge. They download it to us. We upload it. So, but if we ask the teacher now, sir, miss, do you have any proof of this globe? How do you know it's a globe? Because as a child in your lives, you're not thinking the Earth is a globe. If someone came up to you at the age of 7 or 8 or 9 and said, what shape is the Earth? Do you think the Earth is a globe? You're probably going to say no, because you wouldn't have had any hint. How would you know? What have you seen? What evidence have you acquired at your age, 7, 8, 9? I mean, where's the evidence for this, you see? So what I'm trying to say is that I do feel that the burden of proof and proving the globe lies with those who are making that claim. And it starts from our childhood, because I don't believe that a child can prove that the Earth is a globe. The child has no idea where he or she is till they get to school, and then they're being told. Okay? So that's the position I'm in at the moment. I do believe that the professors and the scientists, and that they owe us an explanation. They owe us the proofs, the evidences that I have not been able to find. We, the flat earthers, haven't been able to find. This is the question. This is the first beginning of the anomaly. Then there's the actual spin of the Earth.
I think you're over 5 now.
No, I'm 38 seconds to go,
oh,
sir.
All right, excellent.
Sorry, yeah. Who actually discovered the spin and calculated the spin and that for us, 1,038 miles an hour at the equator? And how can we be in the vacuum of space without containment? That would be a second law of thermodynamics violation. They're the 3 main problems with the heliocentric model, but there are loads more, which I hopefully will get into and have a discussion with. Okay, finished.
All right, well, I got my camera working. There might be a delay because I had to do a little bit of a hack. But so if I'm out of sync with my mouth and my talking, that's why.
That's okay. Now I can't see you now, though.
Yeah,
so
I turned off my feed too. So Jin is not sending. He's not on camera. So so you know.
Yeah.
So I have next to me, the most accurate flat Earth representation is on screen right here with in your place, Jin. So
thank you very much.
Well,
you could always put my logo up if you like.
I had the most accurate flat Earth representation ready, so I just put that up just to quick.
Okay, and what is that? Just so I know, is that the Alexander Gleason map or the azimuthal equidistant map?
It's similar, yeah. It's a.
No, can you please tell me exactly what it is, so I know?
It's a dirt pizza flying through space.
Well, no, that's not an accurate representation. I totally disagree with that. I would rather you not put that up. Put my face up, rather, because we don't subscribe to that at all. No flat earther subscribes to that. That would be a straw man. That would be unfair. So the azimuthal equidistant map, the Alexander Gleason map would be a more representation to what we are. We're not making claims we're in space, you see. So that wouldn't be fair.
The Gleason map that Gleason said was an extortion of the globe, that's the one that you want?
That map would do suffice. That would be excellent. That's what I want. Thank you.
All right, I'll work on getting that.
Or put Jin CBR1 going down the stairs on his mountain bike. That'd even be better if you want. But as long as it's not something that's strawmanning us and misrepresenting us. We don't want that.
So the accurate map.
The accurate map would be the azimuthal equidistant map, the Gleason's map. That's the real deal. But that's where we are.
But Jin, that's the one. That's the one that Gleason said was from the globe in his patent application.
It doesn't. I just
want to be clear. You want the map that says it's an extortion from the globe. I want the map
that proves that we live on a flat Earth and all the flights are perfectly accurate.
Oh, could you send that one? Then I don't have a copy of that one.
Yes. Regardless of what.
I don't have a copy of that one. The one where flights work.
It's the one with the Alexander Gleason's map that it says at the very top, perfect and correct as it is. That map.
Well, I can write that on a map myself. I could write that on this one. I could write just as it is on the one that I have. But hold on, I'm working on it. Hold on.
Yeah. I don't want anything to do with space and flat Earth, because that's not what we subscribe to at all. We're not into that at all. We're not making any claims as such. That would be a straw man, or the the Flat Earth Society, which we call the controlled opposition. They have those weird fangled pictures of flat Earth in space. That's not us. That is a total misrepresentation.
I've not seen them. I've been to their website and I've not seen where they. Anyway, all right. Well, I'm working on it for you here.
Okay,
We gotta.
brilliant. Yeah, if it's
All
not
right. So,
them,
so
then you know.
maybe so here's for people wondering. Let's get to this here first. So
Yeah.
we're gonna do a format here where each of us takes turns doing a presentation for 5 minutes. Then the other person gets a chance to rebut that presentation for 5 minutes. Then we have an open discussion. The open discussion, we're going to exchange turns talking so that we don't overtalk each other. I was going to have a moderator. I asked Shane St. Pierre, who's a flat earther. He had a conflict, couldn't make it. He said maybe Riggs, and I talked to Riggs, and Riggs took. He was going to, but then he took a shift at work. So
Yeah.
in their absence, thank you very much to them. They were willing to, but just couldn't make it happen. So
Yeah,
in their
well done,
absence,
guys.
we're gonna follow this format, which is it's on my website, debate format for topic, if you want to look it up there. Anybody following along to see what we're doing. And so since Jin, I have a little bit of housekeeping to do to get your preferred map up. Do you want
Thank
to
you
do
very much.
your first 5 minute presentation?
Okay, well, it'll be a recitation of I will recitate what I said earlier, and that is we have a problem with the heliocentric model. We, the flat earthers, we're looking for the curvature, the spin, and we want an explanation as to how an Earth ball in the so-called solar system can be there with no containment to contain the 14 pounds per square inch of air pressure that we have, which is precious to our lives to live. Yeah, and the other thing is the vacuum of space is supposed to be 10 to the minus 17 torr, and that's quite a powerful difference there. And how can the Earth be spinning in space without some kind of containment? Because we all know that high pressure goes to low pressure. Okay, so that would be sucked by the vacuum of Earth's air would be sucked via the vacuum of space. So how can that be? How can we be there? We feel that there must be. You can't have pressure without containment. Is what I'm getting to. Okay. You pump up your tires on your bicycle, you're able to acquire pressure because the tire is sealed on the rim. You inflate through the valve, you have pressure. Okay. It's the same in an air compression, air canisters, Coke cans, everything's pressurized, sealed. So how do we have our air in space? These are the anomalies that I'd like to get questions to have answered. Very important indeed. After that, we can look at, let's have a look now. What else did I want to ask? Yeah, not noticing the difference in speed when we travel around. And why is it that the aeroplanes that we fly in don't follow the curvature of the Earth? These are other little problems that I'd like to discuss, as it were. Yeah. What else have we got? Yes. The Coriolis effect as well. That's another thing. That's an old wives' tale. So that's something else we could discuss if it's possible. Yeah.
This is your chance to present evidence. So just the evidence that would convince somebody that you think the Earth is flat.
Okay, well, the reason that we know that the Earth is flat is because, one, we can see too far than the Earth's curvature would allow. Okay, so for example, we have long distance observation, so you can see lighthouses from 60 miles away. You can observe the mountain range in France, world record, 275 miles. Observations been made by the Nikon P900 Japanese camera. That's fantastic, isn't it? Seeing that far, for example. Yeah. I myself in Japan can see Mount Fuji from Fukushima whilst I'm driving my car. So there should be some curvature there that wouldn't allow me to see that mountain from 200 miles. So this is what we're saying. We're able to see too far. That's the first thing. Then the other thing is we're not noticing any rotation of Earth at all. Even Albert Einstein, back in 1933 in Kyoto, Japan, stated that he had come to the conclusion that Earth's rotation couldn't be detected by any experiment that he could conduct. So,
Did
words
you
to that
misquote that on
effect.
purpose? Oh, never mind.
That would
Sorry.
be Albert Einstein saying that he couldn't detect Earth's rotation, for example. Yeah. Then how is it that we are not thrown off the Earth? The Earth is supposed to be spinning on its axis, this invisible axis that we never see, 1,038 miles per hour, which is almost 1.5 times the speed of sound, would throw us off this Earth completely. We wouldn't better stay on it. That spin is too fast, even if it is one rotation 24 hours, but that's at 1.5 times the speed of sound. We must not forget that. Then there's the other anomaly of not being able to see the sun in the southern pole, the south pole. The north pole, you can witness the sun above the horizon 24 hours a day for about 3 months. Above the horizon, you see it clearly, but in the south, it's not visible. No videos exist. There are hoax videos, CGI sun, but there's no real footage from the supposed South Pole. Okay, so these are the questions. Proving flat Earth. We're not following the curvature of the Earth when we fly. We see too far. The horizon looks dead level, spirit level, especially when you're on the ocean on a ship. Okay, so these are the things that prove. The other thing the heliocentrists tend to say is that when a ship disappears from your eyesight as
That's
it moves
5
away from
minutes.
you, it's going over the curve.
That's
But
5
indeed,
minutes.
if you pick up a pair of binoculars now, the ship is still there in your binoculars. And
That's
we
5
all
minutes.
know that we do not see round corners.
Jin,
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
5 minutes.
Okay, I've got 19 seconds here.
Oh, all right,
Basically, so we don't see round corners. Okay. Then when the ship disappears from the focal ability of the binoculars, you can pick up a long range telescope now, and the ship is still there. So obviously, it's not going over any curve. We should stop there for now.
All right. Well, all right. Well, I got my timer going. So you said the pressure. You made an assertion about the second law of thermodynamics. Could you? You don't know what the second law of thermodynamics is, though, because you did not actually state what the second law of thermodynamics states. The difference in speed that airplanes seems you forgot that conservation of momentum is the second law, first law of motion. So when you take off from the ground and you're at an airport at 45 degrees north latitude, you retain 100% of the linear velocity that you had when you were touching the ground. So when you're flying in an airplane, you don't just magically lose the linear velocity you had. Airplanes do in fact follow the curve. All flight navigation is done using great circle routes, and I have on the wall right behind me a route that I did on paper charts, which follows the curve of the Earth. When I put this particular map together, it forms a triangle. I had to do it on a dome in my kitchen because it wouldn't lay flat. So all navigation is based on the globe. In fact, distances between points for when navigation is done uses the Haversine formula. I keep asking flat earthers, what's the formula for distances for flat Earth between points? None have ever given me anything. I know why, because it doesn't make sense. So see too far. I've never seen an example of see too far. Maybe you could pull up an example and we can examine it. Typically what I've seen is that flat earthers don't know how to do math and they use the wrong formula, intentionally or not, but it is not 8 inches per mile squared that predicts the bottom up obstruction. It's a different formula than that. 8 inches per mile squared does not have the capability of putting in the observer height, for example, and it ignores refraction. Refraction is something that is part of the globe. So if you ignore refraction, you are strawmanning the globe. Einstein did not say that we could not measure rotation. In fact, Einstein gave a couple examples of how we do measure the orbit of the Earth. He said, we refer to the yearly movement of the apparent position of the fixed stars resulting from the motion of the Earth around the sun, which is aberration, and to the influence of the radial components of the relative motions of the fixed stars with respect to the Earth on the color of the light reaching us from them. That's from Einstein's 1916 paper. When he was in Kyoto, he said he did not think that there could be measurement of using any optical measurement, which was specifically referring to the Michelson-Morley experiment and things like that, not to other types of things. Further, that was about, he was talking about the orbit, not about rotation. That was also a couple years before Michelson-Gale-Pearson, which was in 1925, which measured the rotation of the Earth. So should he have said that, he would have been wrong anyway, because not long later they did measure the rotation of the Earth. You said that we would be thrown off of the Earth because of centrifugal force. I would love to see your math on that particular topic. I have done the math myself. It is 0.03 meters per second squared up at the equator, and gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared down. So it would not throw us off. In fact, it would hardly make an impact. The sun at the South Pole is easily seen, and I will send you the video at your leisure here. But let me see. I can probably share this to you so you can see this. I have seen people claim that that all of these videos are CGI, but in fact, nobody's actually done an analysis of this particular video showing that it's CGI. Never once. I mean, claims without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. So if you don't have a detailed forensic analysis of this particular video, then your claim gets dismissed. And then further, you said that ships can be brought back if you have higher zoom. I've never, in fact, seen that. I ask over and over and over. Every time a flat earther makes that claim, I say, send me the video, and never once has a flat earther come up with it. There you go. And I'm done. 12 seconds left.
Okay, are you using the rest of your time, are you?
Yep, I'll give back that 12 seconds.
Okay, you're yielding your receiver time. Okay, well, I do have to say that you are begging the question fallacy and a permanent consequence fallacy, because you haven't actually established the evidence for the globe that you're talking about. Where is it? Remember, we said curvature we cannot find, and the burden of proof lies with those who are making that claim. At the very beginning of my introduction, we're all at elementary school. We're all being told it's a globe. None of us have seen the globe in our lives. 7, 8, 9 years of age, we asked the teacher, sir, where's the evidence? Can you now please present that? Because you're running before you can walk here. You're just going too fast, okay? So can you please tell us how we can find the curvature of this Earth? Where? Where have you seen it? What methodology did you use to confirm that the Earth is a globe that is spinning? Thank you.
I yield your time. All right. So just for reference, this is to have a 10-minute portion right here. So let's see. I'm going to jump back here on this. So at 8:35, we'll end this particular section. Well, I would say that just because you said that the burden of proof is on us doesn't mean that the burden of proof is on us. In fact, I would say the burden of proof is on you. Because we see counter-rotating poles, we see the curve of the Earth from high elevation airplanes, we see the sun get obstructed by the horizon at the same width as it is during midday. We see the moon do the same thing. Further, there have been over 600 people that have been to more than 100 kilometers up. They've seen it themselves. So if anybody has the burden, it would be the flat earthers, because they are the ones that are contradicting all observations in reality. So anyway, that wasn't the actual topic. The topic was you presented a bunch of things, and I refuted all of those things and asked you for some specific details. So let's start at the beginning. Could you please provide just quote for us the second law of thermodynamics, because you made a claim based on that, and I yield.
No, I made the claim based on the claim being made that the Earth is a globe, which is what I did say at the very beginning, that we're all at elementary school now, and the burden of proof lies with those who are making the claim. We are now at elementary school, 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9 years of age. We're being told it's a globe. No child can prove that. So the child asks the teacher, "Can you give us the evidence, sir? Miss, do you have the evidence?" Okay, that's where the burden of proof starts, right there. The child is asking for evidence. How can a child prove something it's never seen? So can you please do that? That's where we're beginning from. What is the evidence for the globe? Physical, tangible evidence of a globe that exists. This is the very reason why flat earthers exist, because there's no curvature we can't find. So where's your evidence, please? Who measured the curvature and how? Where is it? Please explain.
All right, sounds like you're done. I will say you have the burden of proof. I yield my time.
This is going to be silly.
It will. Yes, it definitely will. Until you grow up and realize that you have the burden. I'm in the middle of
saying something here. I'll ask you again. We're at school. Teachers are explaining to us it's a globe. Okay, now that's the first time we're going to hear about our world being a globe. I think the children do have a right to ask that question, and you're obfuscating that point. So are you conceding here? Because the teacher needs to explain. The children cannot be asked to prove something they've had no idea that exists, not in the world that they grew up in. So if the teachers are telling them it's a globe, how can the burden of proof be on the child to prove the globe? The teacher's telling them for the first time. So I say to you again, as speaking on behalf of the children that we all are here, just bear with me. Where is the evidence for the globe? What proof do you have? How was the curvature found? Please answer these questions or you're obfuscating. I yield the rest of my time.
I demand that you show evidence that the Earth is flat. If you refuse to, you're obfuscating. I yield my time.
Okay, so you're playing a tit for tat. This is not
absolutely
really
100%.
It's not going to be.
You seem to have no evidence for your belief system, and you're waving the white flag from the beginning. I understand you have a problem with that, but I asked specifically, could you show me the second law of thermodynamics?
Yeah, but you're ignoring my request from the very beginning.
You're ignoring my request.
No, your request came after me. I went first.
Okay.
And I asked you.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. This is where you present positive evidence for your position.
And your listeners, those in the live stream chat. Sorry, I didn't mention you, ladies and gentlemen, in the live stream chat there, YouTube live stream. They're listening. Now, you've heard my request. It's a fair and honest request. We're all at school now. Even the listeners, we're all at school. With the teachers telling us the Earth is a globe. Now, we want to know, how do they know it's a globe? Miss, sir, you're a proponent of the heliocentric model. Can you please explain to the listeners and myself how you came to that conclusion? What methodology do you use so that the listeners who are listening in the live stream chat can go off and do that for themselves? So can I, for that matter. Please. I yield the rest of my time.
All right. Well, we're in 5th grade. And you're the one saying the Earth is flat. You have the burden of evidence. I yield my time.
I'm not saying that. We're not saying that.
Oh, you think the Earth is a globe?
Listen, we're children. So
no, you are. I'm not.
I'm
an adult, actually. You're the child.
Sorry, hold on. We're not saying it's flat. We're saying, how do you know it's a globe, miss, sir? We're asking the teacher for the evidence because we've never seen it as a kid. It's hard to take in, let's say. A surprise. Okay, we don't know what the Earth is. Children, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 7, 8, 9, and 10. No. So please explain to the listeners again how it is. What methodology did you use to prove that the Earth is a globe? Please. I yield the rest of my time.
All right. Well, I will say that you started, and it was your turn to provide evidence for your position. And you have decided that the evidence for your position is to run away from your position, to absolutely refuse to address your position, to be scared of your position, because you don't think the Earth is a globe, you think the Earth is flat, you think that the Gleason map is the correct map. So You have refused. You have waved that white flag from the very beginning because you have to. I get it. You have no evidence for flat Earth. So when you're given an opportunity to present evidence for flat Earth, you run and you can only talk about not flat Earth. That's your favorite topic, is not flat Earth, even though you think the Earth is flat. So now I will present during my time positive evidence for the globe. But because this was your particular topic, and your topic is to present evidence for your position, let's go back to your first claim for your position, which is making a claim about the second law of thermodynamics. So could you just clarify your position on that, please? I yield.
Right. First of all, I'm not waving a white flag. I'm waving a red flag right at your head. I'm not running anywhere, and I'm not running from the flat Earth. I said to you at the very beginning that we have some problems with the heliocentric model, which I'm going to ask you. I said I'm not going to present anything, and I said that to you before we started, and I said it when we started this discussion/debate. Okay, and I said to you that we have problems. We're at school now. Where's the evidence for the globe? That's what I've asked you for. That's my position at the moment. We're at school here now. Burden of proof. This is what I said at the very beginning. It can't be the flat earthers who have burden of proof, especially when we're at school now. No child is a flat earther. Doesn't realize the earth is flat. The child is being told that the earth is a globe. The child then puts his hand up or her hand up and says, "Sir, miss, do you have the proof? How do you know it's a globe?" This is your position. You're that teacher. This is your position. You're a heliocentrist. You believe the earth is a globe. Where's the evidence for that belief, so that your listeners who are listening to you right now and listening to me can go off and do that and prove it to themselves? We, the flat earthers, can't do that at the moment. And remember, we're children at the moment, so we don't even know there's a flat earth, let's say. Okay, and my position before you start was I was going to talk about the flat earth, the heliocentric model and its flaws and how it leads to the flat earth. Okay, we're getting there slowly. This is what I wanted to do. Answer the question, please. Don't obfuscate now. Now I'm relinquishing the rest of my time.
All right. Well, tell you what, I'll give you this here. You've shifted the burden, but I'll put this up here for you. Here is a photograph of the Earth taken in 1972. There you go, from very far distance away. There you go.
1972, yeah?
Yes, 1972. There it is.
Okay, yeah. I can't accept that because we haven't established that the Earth is a globe, yet alone going into space. So there's a going to space fallacy going on there, which we'll address later on. So I can't accept that as a picture. That looks more like a painting to me anyway. And I don't believe, in fact, I know that man hasn't left Earth to go to space, but that was going to be my second topic. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to dismiss that as evidence of Earth as a globe. I'm talking about here on Earth. How here on Earth, on the ground that your house is built on here, how have you confirmed that the Earth is curving? Can you please, if you can't, just concede it. Simple. No big deal here. But this is the problem, yeah? We're not looking to space to measure the ground. If I'm going to lay a carpet in my room, I'm not going to be looking to the ceiling before I lay my carpet down, am I? I'm going to deal with the ground underfoot. So how is it that we know that the Earth is curving? Who measured that curvature in today's time, modern times, or a long time ago? Please, can we have this? I yield the rest of my time to the right comical Mr. McTune. Carry on.
Right, well, that's the 10 minutes up for the first topic. You didn't want to talk about your topic, but...
Well, you were obfuscating, wasn't you?
So, all right, well, so now is my topic. I'll you can set the timer too. I will present positive evidence for the shape of the Earth, which will be it'll be a weird thing for you, but here we go.
No, so, why didn't you present it? Sorry to interrupt you, but why didn't you present it when I asked you for the evidence in my time? Why didn't you do that? So we could have carried on.
Just
anyway, carry on. Carry on.
No, you interrupted already, and I'll answer the question. The format that you agreed to was that we take turns. Each of us presents our our evidence for the shape of the Earth, and you didn't do that. But that's
Well, I
anyway.
said to you that I wasn't going to present anything. I did say that to you before we started and
Well,
when we started.
it doesn't surprise me because no flat earther ever does. But anyway, I'll start my timer. So here we go. So if the Earth is a globe, then the horizon must curve. And how can you test that? Well, one way is to get to go up to a high elevation and take a photograph of it. And when you do that, you want to make sure that you use a camera with a lens that does not add curvature because of the lens. So this particular one that I'm about to show you uses a Sony a7S II. The lens is a Sony FE 50mm prime lens. And here is the analysis of the lens done by thedigitalpicture.com. This is the curvature induced by the lens. You can see from this checkerboard pattern that it does not induce curvature.
Well,
this is a rectilinear lens that does not add curvature. So any curve that you might see with a video or photograph taken from this lens will be a true curve, and any straight line that you see from this lens will be a true straight line. So that's established right there. That's the lens that's being used. This is a video, the entire video, which is something that flat earthers never tend to reference. The entire video is available, so you can look at from the ground level to see if that lens is adding distortion at ground level. And so here is the video from high elevation, about 117,000 feet, I think is where we're jumping to right now in this video. I'm right. All right. Let's get it a little larger. And you can see clearly right there a curve of the horizon. Now this curve is present above and below the center frame. As you would hope for a lens that is a rectilinear lens. I'm going to change the playback speed so it goes a little slower. There you go. So throughout, you can go through this whole video and you can see the curve of the horizon all over this particular video when it's at high elevation.
Yeah. Well,
that's one. Number two is let's go here. This is a photograph was taken by people. That was a camera sent up in a balloon by a flat earther, by the way. Dwayne Cullum's a flat earther. This particular one was taken in 1935 by Albert Stevens in November over South Dakota at a height of 72,000 feet. It was in a issue of National Geographic in 1936. There it is, right there is, and I'll get a larger view of it, so we can have a good close look of it. I have both the National Geographic magazine, and I'll show you in a second the actual photograph. This is a scan of the photograph that I have in my possession right here. So here it is. There's an added line across it, so you can see the straight line compared to the curve of the horizon. There it is. So, and I will show for the people at home. I just got this recently, so it's pretty exciting. And I have it on my website, mc2.net/curve. I have the whole thing. I have 1:15 yet to go.
That's okay.
Here is the full picture. It's a good size thing. You can see right up there, right up close. You can see it all. So it's a very nice photograph. The particular camera and lens setup was specially designed to be rectilinear as well, so that it does not add any artificial curvature. So those two are my two pieces of evidence that establish that the shape of the Earth is, at least the shape of the horizon is curved. So there we go. 30 seconds and I'll be done. You get 5 minutes response.
Thank you very much. Let me just set my timer here. That way we know we're not nicking any time from you. Right. I shall begin. Is it okay if I can begin now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. hang on now, right now, basically, your claim from the first photograph, the video, where it was at 117 feet, 17,000 feet up. Sorry. Well, according to the world's number one astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, who claims that no curvature can be seen from 120,000 feet. That's all flat. And he was referring to the Felix von Gardner jump, where he was clearly using a GoPro fisheye lens, okay? And that's what he said. That's what we flat earthers agreed to, because when Felix von Gardner was in his gondola for that Red Bull jump, in his gondola, looking out at the horizon through that porthole of his, the horizon was dead level, no curvature there. And it's, you know, anyone can look at that on YouTube and see it for yourself. Then he steps out onto the platform, suddenly it's all curving. And Neil deGrasse Tyson highlighted that point by saying he was using a GoPro fisheye lens. That's not good. And then your next claim, which is your photograph there of the line, your two proofs, 72,000 feet up. Again, it's just not high enough to be seeing curvature, according to what the world's number one astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson says. And that would be in keeping with the flat earthers. But my point is, why are we not measuring the ground under our feet? Why are we up in the air? We need to be measuring the ground under our feet. You are running like the ground is on fire, like your shoes are melting, you know, like your equipment can't work on the ground. This is where we are. We're on the ground. The ground on the foot is worth all the gazillion stars in the space. Do you understand? As in, the bird in hand is worth two in the bush. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we should be working the ground, and we, the flat earthers, we're doing the groundwork, boots on the ground. We are not finding that curvature. So all these images are just pie in the sky as far as I'm concerned. They mean nothing. And especially as we've got Neil deGrasse Tyson backing us up inadvertently, of course, because he is a heliocentrist, but he inadvertently told the truth there. Okay? So no, sir, I will not be accepting what you have presented here. This is tittle-tattle, and you have obfuscated the point of who actually is held up for proving the curvature of the earth, and how have you proven it physically? Physically. This is what we're saying about tangible physical work. Admittedly, you know, an image speaks 1,000 words, yes, but in this case, you have not even reached the height where you can see this curvature. According to Neil deGrasse Tyson, 120,000 feet, which is 24 miles up, isn't enough. Nowhere near enough to be seeing curvature, apparently. And we, down on Earth, using our instruments, laser beams, theodolites, that's what the geodetic surveyors use, long-range telescopes, short-range telescopes, laser beams, radio signals, radar, aeroplanes and ships, we are unable to find a single nano degree of curvature. I will yield the rest of my time, which is 1 minute, 25 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. But there you go. You're over to you, sir.
All right, it is 8:45, so we'll have the open discussion until 8:55. So it seems to me like you did not have any refutation at all. Instead, you quoted Neil deGrasse Tyson, who isn't here and doesn't have anything to say about these particular things that I showed. So I'll just ignore that and instead just once again reference this particular part of the dirt of the earth. As you want to measure the ground, right there, we're looking at the ground being curved in that particular photograph there. And we can do the same thing in this one here. We can see the ground. This isn't, what is this if it's not the ground? This is South Dakota, and we're looking at the ground, measuring that the ground is curved. You asked for a measurement of the ground being curved. This is a measurement of the ground being curved. We can see it with our own eyes. Both of these are measurements of the ground being curved. You demanded evidence of the ground being curved. I showed you evidence of the ground being curved, and you actually didn't talk about the evidence that I presented. Instead, you quoted somebody else who wasn't talking about these particular things. And you brought up a different topic, a whole bunch of other things. Again, off topic. This is a measurement of the ground being curved. There you go. I yield.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Well, I would say that the instrument you use is suspect, of course. I'm going to have to say that because, like I've said, the cutting edge technologies like GPS, which are more accurate than your camera lens, isn't finding a single degree of curvature anywhere, nor is a laser beam, nor is the theodolites, nor is the long range telescopes and the short range telescopes or the binoculars, okay, nor is the radar, which can see up to 2,000 miles, where there should be 520 miles of curvature, not there, nor is the the radio signals, okay? So, and then aeroplanes and ships, like I've said, we're not physically flying around this globe ball. It's not there. If you fly from the North Pole to the South Pole, according to the jet fighter pilots who supposedly protect the supposed free world, they've said that their aeroplane would be upside down. They would be antipodal, but they're not. They are flying in a straight line. And where do I get this source from? Ladies and gentlemen, look up the documentary called Flatten the Curve. It was released May this year. You might want to look up another documentary called Level, and then Level 2, the sequel.
Yeah.
Okay, but Flatten the Curve is the one you really want to watch, because that one there, you have a bunch of professionals, and they would be the aircraft pilot instructors, jet fighter pilots who supposedly protect the supposed free world, submariners who operate their submarines. Then there are the aircraft carrier naval personnel, and all of them have said that if their equipment was subjected to a globe Earth, their equipment wouldn't work, there'd be missing targets, and there'd be pandemonium, okay? But you need to watch that documentary because the professionals come out and tell you, and they show you the maths and how they come to their conclusions. They bring out their books and their PDFs, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, that's time.
Okay.
All right, well, I'll start my time. First of all, the Level documentary funded by the Satanist Tanner Stewart. Weird. Well, flat Earth Christians, go ahead. Jin says to go watch the video by the Flat Earth Satanist. Go ahead. A strange thing, but whatever. Anyway, so Jin, you did not address the curvature of the Earth. That's right here on screen right now. You changed the topic instantly. Instantly you changed the topic because you have no refutation. All you can say is, nuh-uh, I don't like it. It doesn't match your pre-selected conclusion. Therefore, you instantly reject it. And I have on screen here the anti-scientific method that you are using. You have selected your required conclusion. You only accept supporting evidence and you reject all contradicting evidence. And then you declare that your pre-selected conclusion has been undeniably proven. So I will put up on screen one more time for you to address, because this is the topic, my time. I chose this topic. You will once again run away from this topic. I yield.
Thank you for that. Okay, so let me start my time now. Basically, I will reiterate what I said earlier. The information that you've presented to me here, like I said, the equipment you use is suspect. This is what I'm saying, because the equipment that's being used thus far from the flat earthers is not, and we're talking about on the ground now, not finding any kind of curvature anywhere. We have a bunch of people from Brazil, the documentary Convex Earth, the full documentary. They used 7 pieces of equipment. They chose a place called Lake Titicaca at night for the lowest humidity, so that you won't get any refraction, would be at its minimal. So the laser beam, which they had specially customized so that the laser beam wouldn't diverge outwards, it was a focused beam having to hit a target 35 miles away, 3.3.3 squared. It's known as a total station. So it's not a big placard of a board. It's a small, looks like a laser gun itself. and the laser beam has to hit that 35 miles away. No curvature at all within that distance. Amazing. You got to watch that documentary. There are some controversial points that we the flat earthers don't disagree, that we disagree with, but the point is, it's the 7 methodology that they employed to find out if the earth's curving or not is what we're mostly interested in. It's a learning curve, and it's actually an experience. Okay, and you will be amazed. Convex Earth, the full documentary, and that's all I can say there. I'm not using my time yet. Now, I'd like to talk about the sun actually as well. So, and the distance to the sun. So my question to you would be, how was that confirmed, the distance to the sun? Because a man by the name of Brian Logics, from the server, I've still got 3 minutes here. I've got 3 minutes here.
No, this is your 2-minute rebuttal, Jin.
2 minutes, is that? I thought it was 5 minutes.
This is our back and forth. This is your time to stay on topic.
Can I complete where I'm?
No, you cannot. The topic is the photograph, the video I'm showing on screen right now.
My time.
You don't have the rest of your time. You have no time. You went over your time.
I apologize for overgoing the time.
All right.
Sorry.
You had to refuse to talk about the evidence that I presented because you have no rebuttal to this evidence. You claimed that the equipment was suspect. Well, this is I don't know why you would think that a Sony A7S is a suspicious piece of camera gear. That's a very nice camera. And the lens is a FE50 f1.8 prime lens, a very nice lens. This kit here is more valuable than it's a better kit than the flat earth camera of choice, the Nikon P1000. So there's nothing suspicious about this particular equipment here. Just saying that it's suspicious doesn't make it suspicious. You showed no analysis of it. I showed analysis of the lens. You did nothing. You just rejected it because it hurts your precious pre-selected conclusion. You did talk about the hilarious mockumentary featuring Bilu, the alien that is hiding in the weeds. If you watch the second part of the Convex Earth mockumentary, the people in the video, the people that did the mockumentary, go talk to an alien in the bushes in Brazil. They seriously talk to Bilu, the alien that's hiding in the bushes. You never do see Bilu. I think they were faking it. I can't believe you brought that up. I love that. Anyway, that mockumentary is all fake. So, all right. Wow, nothing at all. All right, so I'll do that.
I'm going to rebut. I'd like to rebut if you're ready.
This will be your 2 minutes, and then we'll move on to the next portion.
Okay. 2 minutes. Hang on a second. Here we go. 2 minutes. Right.
Basically,
the documentary that I'm talking, the aforementioned documentary has nothing to do with the Bilu. It's not even, when you watch the 1.5 video, Bilu doesn't come up. So when I actually watched that documentary, I was unaware of their other videos and other shenanigans, and that's got nothing to do with what they did here. What you see being displayed is honesty, integrity, and honor with the equipment they use. It's user-friendly. We can all rent this equipment and go and do the test ourselves. So there's nothing to hide there. Okay, and as for you saying your camera, the Sony, is a good bit of equipment, that's fine. What I'm saying is how it was used is what I'm saying. I would have to be there with you in order to see that for myself. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, that's all I'm saying there. That when I say suspect, what I mean is, yes, the camera is indeed a good bit of equipment, no doubt about that. Sony as well, to boot. But I would have to be there to repeat that and replicate that. Was it all set correctly? You see? This is what I'm worried about here at the end of the day. Bearing in mind, at the age of 61, not seeing any curvature of the Earth, not experiencing the spin, and definitely not having a ball in space without containment does rock my world, and there's no way that I'm going to move from that position. In that, you have obfuscated your position to prove how the Earth's curvature was actually proven. Who proved that the Earth is curving here on Earth? Okay, in old times or modern times, what man or woman? You failed on that point, and I'm desperately asking you to address that point. You've obfuscated it all the way through. I'm addressing your curvature thing, and I've said nah, as I would do, of course, because I'm not satisfied with what you presented. I yield the rest of my time.
All right. Well, good timing there. All right. So that's halfway. Do you mind a couple questions from the audience, just as kind of an intermission here?
Go ahead, yeah. Why not?
Okay.
If I may be allowed to just say, yeah. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen?
How's your time? Before we move
in
on,
the live stream there, and those in the PLM server and in the Gem Panda server as well.
How's your schedule?
My schedule is fine. I've rescheduled it for later on in the day. Excellent. Now I've had
to. For reference, people, I made a mistake in our scheduling. So, and Jin was kind enough to be flexible on that. So, all right, we've got Eddie Reese says, "I'll follow you into the dark." That's to me because I couldn't get the video working at first. Manny Karen says, "I'm the second law, and I've been violated by Globers." What's he mean by that, Jin? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know where he's going with that either.
Saeed Ahmed says, "Happy holidays, McTune." Thank you for that. Let's see. All right, Clara Microraptor for 100 secs. All of them. Says, "I think you may need help from a psychiatrist. May I suggest a good friend, Hannibal Lecter." Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, Hannibal Lecter.
She's great as long as you can ignore her licking her lips. I don't know why she does that. Hannibal Lecter?
Yes.
All right. Andreas Eld has a question for Jin. Can you see America from Japan?
No, you wouldn't be able to see America from Japan. Reason being, you would have so much weather to look through. If you can imagine snow, rain, sleet, fog, dew, right? So your telescopes or whatever instrument you may have, you won't be able to see that. The atmosphere, Earth's forever changing atmosphere, okay, or I can't even use the word atmosphere, but weather will not allow you to do that. Not to mention the distance as well. Okay, there you go.
All right. Cretan Ball says, "I've been interested in FE for 5 or 6 years, and during that time, I've learned so much. During the same time, flat earthers haven't learned a thing. It's the same stupid arguments over and over again. Merry Christmas." Well,
that's a good point.
Well.
That's a good point he raised, and I'd like to just chime in on that. Repetition breeds excellence, and if you want to learn something and learn it well, you need to repeat. That's what it's about. So if it's 2015 and we're still repeating it, that's excellent. We're not leaving any child behind. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Move on.
Hey, what was the name? Let's see. Stringer News 1 is saying, is wondering about the name of that lake that you mentioned with the Bilu documentary.
Well, it wasn't a Bilu documentary, first of all, because when you look at the convex Earth, the full documentary, there is no mention of Bilu at all. It doesn't come up.
But
it's
what was the name of the lake?
It's in Peru. It's Lake Titicaca. And yeah, that's where it was, Peru. Laser beam test.
That's one of my favorite lakes.
Yeah.
Siggy Sigwald says, quote, "We see too far. No examples ever provided. Water is always flat. Measurements show otherwise. Earth doesn't rotate. All gyroscopes show movement. Pendulums mean nothing because you have to start it, as if that had anything to do with what we see." That was a good series of things there, right on.
We don't see anything. No flat earther can claim to have seen anything that was mentioned there.
No kidding.
Where do we see? Where do we see the curvature, ladies and gentlemen? Where do we see that spin, ladies and gentlemen?
Wait, where do we see the
curvature?
curvature?
How is it we're not dead if we're in space, ladies and gentlemen?
Right there.
Those
where do we see the curvature?
Questions.
Right there, right on screen right now. I got it. You're looking at it. You're looking at the curvature, nothing. Jen. I'm sending you that, right? You see the
like I said.
There you go.
We're not finding it at all. The
Well,
equipment
I was right there.
used and equipment used by others, 7 years in the making, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, 7 years, they never found a single degree. In fact, they've also claimed that gravity doesn't exist, and that's just wonderful.
That's
Looking for
ridiculous. All
the
right.
curvature, and there's no gravity on top of
Ringer
that.
News One says, remember MC Tune is 13. Yep. There it is. Steve6464 says, Jin, what type of teachers did you have that did not explain to you and your classmates how they knew the Earth was a globe?
Well, I went to school I was born in 1961, elementary school 1967, 68. And back then, we were told it was a globe. That's what they showed us. They didn't show us any photographs. We were given that as a story, and we carried that all through our lives. We go on to secondary education, where it's reinforced the same. No real proofs. Nothing. Zero. And I went to Sir William Collins Comprehensive School for boys, okay, back in the 70s.
They might not want you saying that.
Sorry?
They might not want you revealing that kind of information.
It doesn't matter. That's it. I have the right to speak freely.
All
I
right.
fear no man, no organization, no worries. I'm not worried about any comebacks from that. Thank you very much.
All right. They might have words for you. All right. Spy.
No, they won't.
Spy says, why don't flat earthers get on a plane and keep flying east or west and see where they end up, or south? Why don't you just get on a plane and go south?
That's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. When we actually get on a plane and you fly from like Los Angeles to New Zealand, that's almost 180 degrees, but you do not encounter a single degree of curvature. But yet when you put your hand on a ball, beach ball, and you put your hand at the top of that beach ball and you follow the curvature of that ball, you will notice how your hand becomes inverted when it gets to the bottom. So by the law of nature, God's natural law there, you must and will encounter curvature if there is a curve to be encountered. But there isn't in 19 hours, ladies and gentlemen. So, I'm sorry.
Were you expecting to go, like, to have a corner that you got to? Like you'd go for like a whole bunch of time and then you'd have like a 5-degree corner that you'd get to?
Well, let me answer that. Basically, according to the experts and the maths, an aeroplane traveling at 500 miles an hour would have to nose down a mile every 2 minutes in order to keep itself following the curvature of the Earth.
All right,
it doesn't do
show
that.
the math. Show the math. Go
Well,
ahead.
I can show
a
you
mile
the
every
means.
2 minutes. A
I can
mile
show you
every
the
2
means.
minutes.
It's time over.
Show it.
You know the maths. It's time over motion. You know the maths.
Show it.
So I can't show you that because I don't have it, but I have the mean.
Jin. You can't do the math.
Show you the
that
mean
math is the
with
most
the
ridiculous
gyroscope.
claim
I
I've
think
ever.
that would be
I gotta write that down.
suffice.
That is the most ridiculous claim I've heard. 1 mile every 2 minutes.
Yes, 1 mile
Wow.
every 2 minutes is the standard there. Yeah. So if an aircraft is traveling at 500 miles per hour, yes,
I have to
that's
say,
what would happen.
in more than 4 years of doing this, Jin, that is
I'm
the
surprised.
most ridiculous claim I've ever heard. You've topped it,
I am
Jin.
surprised to hear you
Nobody
say
has
that.
made any more ridiculous claim than that in over 4 years.
Well,
That's
you
it.
do surprise
You have
me
topped
because
it.
it's
That
been
is
around.
the most ridiculous one.
That's been around since
It
2016,
doesn't
so I'm
matter.
really surprised.
Probably people back then are like, wait a second, that's ridiculously wrong. We should stop saying that. It makes you look
it's
dumb,
not wrong at all.
flat earthers. And
No,
they
it's
stopped saying it because it's ridiculous and you didn't get the memo.
I will never stop saying it because it's a fact, ladies and gentlemen, that an aircraft traveling at 500
We'll
miles
send the
per
math.
hour
You
would
never
have to
will.
nose down
You
for 1
can't
mile
do
every
math.
2 minutes.
You can't do math. Jin, we know
I
you
can
can't do math.
maths. I can do maths.
Then send the math.
To
You
do
never
the
will.
maths now will take
All right.
time, okay? But everyone else can work it out. Those who can do the maths can work it out for themselves.
All right.
Those are the statistics, and those are the facts. So let's not waste time.
All right.
Maths
All right,
doesn't
Jin.
always prove your reality, ladies and
All
gentlemen.
right, Jin,
as
let's
you
go.
well know.
This is your turn. Let's get back to it. So this is your chance to do your topic where you present evidence for your shape of the Earth. Are you ready?
Well, hang on a second. I've got one more point to make
5 minute
about
presentation.
the sun.
Yeah, 5 minute presentation.
Okay.
I won't interrupt.
Okay. Hang on a sec. Let me get my clock ready here.
Yeah. All right. I'm ready.
Right. So basically, we're talking about the flat Earth here, okay? And what we're going to talk about is the distance to the sun here, okay? And this doesn't really prove flat Earth, but it disproves the globe, okay? And what is this? But it's what we're saying is that the sun isn't 93 million miles away. And why we're saying that is because a guy by the name of Brian, an Irishman, who hangs around in a server called Flat Earth Debate, Science versus Pseudoscience. Brian's Logic, his name is, has been observing the sun and the moon and its behavior in the sky, okay, over a period of time. And he's noticed that the moon at night casts the same shadow on a sundial as the sun does. Okay, the same exact angle shadows on a sundial as the sun does, and this would be the moon at night. Okay, now if that's the case, it would mean that either the moon is 93 million miles away, and that can't be because, according to the cosmologists, the astronomers, the theoretical physicists, professors, and scientists, they tell us that the moon is 238,000 miles away. Now, we flat earthers don't believe in that number. Okay, we don't do beliefs. Okay, but we'll take that number for now. And then the sun is supposed to be 93 million miles away. So how can that be? How can the moon be doing what the sun does? It would mean that the sun would have to be local, closer to us. Yeah? In order for the moon to do exactly what the sun is doing. Okay, do you understand, ladies and gentlemen? The moon is acting like the sun, casting the same angles on a sundial. We're calling it the moon dial. We're calling this moment the new black swan. So it's a great revelation from Brian. Well done. He's debunked the sun's distance, okay, because the sun has to be closer in order for the moon to be doing what the sun does. It can't be 93 million miles away. And when you look up at the sky and you see the clouds coming through see the sun rays coming through the clouds in a divergent angle, diverging outwards, it means that the sun is close. And if you look at the sun at 93 million miles away and the sun rays were to come through the clouds, they would be coming down vertically 90-degree parallel rays. And no human being has seen that. We have no images, no photographs of that. And if Mr. McTune could be so kind later on, he could show you a picture, a meme that I posted to Skype. He's got it, and he will show you an experiment that you can do for yourselves. And basically, it's get a circular cardboard, draw some tiny circles in there, cut those circles out, turn the light out in your room, take a flashlight, hold it at a distance, and you will see that the light passing through the cardboard are straight and parallel. And then when you bring that light source closer to the cardboard, you will see that the rays begin to fan and diverge outwards. That's natural law. No cheating there. And that's what proves, okay? It's not proving flat Earth, but it's proving the fact that the heliocentric model has another flaw. And as I've said, I've still got 2 minutes here, ladies and gentlemen. Proving flat Earth is there is no curvature, no axial rotation, and you can't be in the vacuum of space without containment, but yet we see the Earth blue marble ball in the solar system, yeah, with no containment. That would be impossible. That there in itself is a second law of thermodynamics violation. And basically, in layman terms, ladies and gentlemen, the minus 10 to the 17 torr power of the vacuum would suck all the air from Earth if it were in space. Okay? The high pressure we have on Earth would go to the low pressure, straight into the vacuum. Okay? That's what it is, basically, ladies and gentlemen, okay? We're saying that Earth can't be a ball spinning in space because the vacuum of space, minus 10 to the 17 torr, would pull all that air and we'd be dead on Earth. There'd be no life, okay? That's the three problems. We see the three problems for the heliocentric model. We know the Earth is flat. We see too far. No curvature to be found. No axial rotation. That's the two main things that prove flat Earth. The very fact that we can see water, the oceans, lie level. Never do you see water converging or conforming to a spherical ball. It just rolls off. If you spin the ball and you pour water, it flies off. If you stop the ball and you pour water, it rolls off the ball and accumulates at the bottom in a level puddle. Okay? So the oceans are level. I've still got 29 seconds, it says here.
Okay.
All right, 26 seconds. Yeah. So that's what we're saying. Okay? Over a vast distance, aeroplanes are not following the curvature of the Earth. I've also checked that with my bubble app on my phone, and the aeroplane the bubble remained bang in the center because the aeroplane was flying level, horizontally level. The only time it moved was when it came to land and when we took off. It moved from position. Okay. Okay, that's the end of my time.
All right. Well, I got a 5-minute rebuttal. I'll start. So you said that somehow Brian's logic identified that shadows do the same thing if they're from the sun and they're from the moon, and therefore you made this jump. Then you jumped all the way to that somehow is impossible if they're a different distance away. So I missed the part where there was a geometric proof that the distance that something is away affects the angles of shadows somehow. That you're going to have to show that particular thing. My gosh, I mean that was Brian is trying to top you for the 1 mile for every 2 minutes thing that you tried to do. Now I do find it very strange, Chin, that you accepted the evidence that Brian did, even though you weren't there, because your standard of evidence demands that you be there. You don't accept anything if you weren't there during the actual experiment. So the dual standard of evidence, I will call you on that every time. If you must be there for evidence that I show, then you must be there for evidence that you show. That's just a pretty basic thing. A dual standard of evidence shows extremely dishonest position. You did say that you have this one, it's on screen right now, that the sun is close, you think because of that, but then I'm gonna say, well then obviously the sun is inside the trees there, and obviously then by your example the sun is inside the dirt there, and then obviously by your example the sun is right there just a couple miles above, but there's pine trees, and so I don't know how that could just be a couple miles away, because pine trees don't get very close to the tropics. I don't know how that works. So
you can see this clearly in the sky.
And
you can see that's clearly in the sky.
Let's see. It's my turn. Don't. And then obviously by your logic, these train tracks meet up just a little bit. They touch each other just down the road there, because that's how crepuscular rays apparently work for you. Yep.
That's straw man. You're straw manning them.
All right, hey, don't interrupt.
But you're straw manning though, yeah?
All right, let's see.
You're straw manning though, yeah?
Will you stop talking? This is my turn to talk.
Yeah, but you're straw manning.
This is my turn to talk.
Jim, I didn't straw man you.
Jim, this is my turn to talk.
Okay, yeah. Don't straw man.
Stop.
Yeah?
All you do is straw man the globe. So stop talking. All right. So let's see here. We've got obviously the sun is inside the dirt there by the way that you did it. So let's see here. We've got let's see if that works. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is a good one here. We've got, the sun is inside the tree there. If you could just follow the rays back, then that's where the sun actually must be, according to you.
Absolutely.
So, there it is. The sun is right above the swamp, just on the other side of that tree, just a couple feet away by your analysis there. The sun is inside that tree. I don't know how the sun got on.
More straw manning. You're straw manning.
This lady is holding the sun in her hand. I don't know how she's not getting burnt, but the sun is sitting inside the room right behind that lady upon her shoulder, because that is apparently that's how it works.
Clear straw manning.
All right. Here's more train tracks that meet up just a couple of miles
totally
down the road
dishonest
there.
I don't make those claims.
All right. Let's see. But no, I don't know. Maybe those train tracks aren't the kind that are this kind of train track where they obviously must, by your standard, meet up just down the road there. So, all right, then I have a question. I have a question as I finish up here. Is -10 to the 17 torr power a positive or negative number? I yield.
Is that a question for me?
Yes. Could you just start with that? Is -10 to the 17 torr power a positive or negative number?
It's a negative number. Right, now, you strawmanned what I said. Now, the idea of Brian's Logic's fantastic find and revelation 3 days ago on that server called Flat Earth Debate, Science versus Pseudoscience, we're calling him Brian Tostenes now. That's his name. That's the name I've called him, okay? Because he made a fantastic finding. Now, I myself haven't conducted that experiment just yet myself, that observation. One, I don't have a sundial, but I can make one myself. That's not going to be difficult to do, to observe that for myself. The thing is, we can all actually do that. We can all actually make a little sundial and check. It's not difficult. I understand fully the implications of that. That's why it's worth a mention. It's the new black swan coming. The flat earthers are finishing on a high note because we are debunking the 93 million mile away sun. It's impossible. Natural law tells us that if a sun is that far away, when it hits the Earth's atmosphere or the Earth's weather system and come through the clouds, you're going to see vertical parallel rays. No human being has an image of that. That's law, natural law. But what we do have are corpuscular rays. And when you follow those rays back to the source, it proves that the sun is close. How many times some of you, ladies and gentlemen, who have traveled in the server, in an aeroplane, have seen the sun so close it's like you can go to it. It really is that close, ladies and gentlemen, because you're not looking at 93 million miles away, for sure, you know? So, I'm going to keep on mentioning that for the rest of this year, right into the new year, of course. I yield the rest of my time for now.
All right. So you did not show me the geometry of how the distance makes a difference on the angle, so I'll ask for that again.
Oh, yeah, we'll be coming on YouTube very soon.
This is my turn to talk.
Sorry to interrupt you.
My turn to talk, yeah. So... I was surprised that you talked about the negative, that you thought that you said that, I just want to clarify, you said that -10 to the 17 torr power is a negative number. Just want to clarify that.
Negative 10 minus 10 to the 17 torr. Yeah, I said it was a negative number, yeah.
Yeah, you said that. Yep. You've said that. I find that very funny.
Why?
No reason.
Why?
But you can't even get. You're not even in the neighborhood of correctness.
Why?
I mean, yes, -10 to the 17 is a negative number, but it's not a measurement of torr.
I answered correctly.
But why are you talking about -10 to the 17 torr?
Because that's supposedly the power of the vacuum of space.
No, it's not.
Apparently.
No, it's not.
That's what we're told.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
That's what we're told.
Nobody says that.
Let me tell you, I haven't been up there to confirm this. This is what they tell us. That's their story.
No,
not
they
mine.
don't. No, they don't. They don't say. They don't say it's -10 to the 17 torr. They don't say that. Nope, never. Nobody's ever said that. Only you. I've not even heard any other flat earthers say that.
Have I got the numbers run the wrong way? Is it minus 17 to the 10 torr?
Minus 17 to the 10 torr. I'll write that one down too. No, it's not that
minus,
either.
Minus 10 to the 17 torr is what I've heard.
No, it's not right. All right, your turn.
Well, I'm going to stick with what I said, and that's a fact.
You should.
The fact is, I myself haven't confirmed that because I haven't been up there to confirm that. That's their story, Remember that. It's not what I don't believe that at all. The fact is, this is the stories they tell us, and we, the flat earthers, are questioning that those figures, numbers, and position of Earth. Bearing in mind, we're not able to see the curvature of the Earth. Let's not forget that. That Earth's curvature, no human being on Earth has seen it. Not even the equipment you're bringing to us and the images you're bringing are proving that, because we need to actually be seeing it here on the ground, and it hasn't happened yet. None of the equipment we use proves that the Earth is curving. And remember, if you can fly from New Zealand to Los Angeles and not encounter curvature, so using the Sherlock Holmes method here, when you remove all the impossibilities, whatever's left, no matter how improbable it may seem to be to you, has to be the truth. And the fact is, no measurable curvature at all. Zero. And you haven't mentioned how the curvature of the Earth was proven. You haven't done that. Who proved the curvature of the Earth and the spin? When was this done? You have failed to give me that information. I yield the rest of my time for now.
All right. So, oh, I got that one. Okay. And that one. So what is the, anyway, you got the wrong thing, but the deal is with, oh, here, let me start that and start my time. The reason why there's a pressure differential is because gravity pulls the air down and pulls it towards the surface of the Earth, and vacuums don't actually have power. It's actually a lack of anything. It's just, that's what a vacuum is. So, let's see. All right. So there's that. The law of gravitational attraction has been confirmed. So you still didn't. Oh yeah, you still didn't present. But I'm guessing that you won't be, and neither will Brian's logic ever. But why the distance that something is from you would have any particular change on the angle that it casts on a stick or something like that. So that's going to be good. I look forward to Brian doing that. Anyway, well, we have, I'll tell you what, I'll give you one more response and then we'll wrap up this section. You. Go ahead.
Thank you for that. Yeah, well, basically, with the Brian's Logic's magnificent discovery, if you look for the Nathan Oakley and Quantum Erasers Flat Earth debate, science versus pseudoscience, there was 3 days ago. You look for that one, you'll find everything you need to do, diagrams, presentations, all there. It's on the YouTube already, and your wishes will be, or your questions will be answered. Okay, that's the first thing there. And then you mentioned gravity, and that's begging the question fallacy when you haven't actually established Earth as a globe that is spinning in the vacuum of space. No evidence really leading to that, us to that. First of all, that gravity, that spin. Who actually discovered that? No names. Who discovered the spin? No names. Okay, and now you're bringing up gravity. Now, which gravity are you talking about? Because there are two to consider here. We've got Newtonians and Einsteinians, and we all know that Einsteinian has now superseded Newtonian's mass attracting mass. As we all know, some of you, ladies and gentlemen, may not know this, but Sir Isaac Newton disagreed with the idea of mass attracting mass for no apparent reason. He thought it was an absurd idea and didn't want his name ascribed to that. Those were his own words, okay? And on his death, they ascribed that to him. He didn't agree. He couldn't prove it. In his book, The Principle of Mathematics, 500 pages, which I started to read and found it rather a boring read, I must say, he couldn't prove that he couldn't prove gravity. Okay, it's an unproven, gravity is an unproven theory. When you subject it to the scientific method, it fails. Where's your naturally observed phenomena, for example? Then what's your hypothesis, your dependent and independent variables? Then you test, then you hand it over to someone else. It can't be proven. Neil deGrasse Tyson was asked, what is gravity? I have no idea. Next question, he said. Okay. And then there's Einsteinian's gravity, the bending and warping of space-time gravity. Okay. I finished there. I'll use the rest of my time.
All right. Well,
sorry.
Yep. All right. It's my turn now to present evidence, and so you wanted measurements on the ground of the shape of the Earth. So I will do that. Let me clear out. I got some tabs. I got too many tabs open. I got to close a bunch here. So many tabs. And there we go. All right. You'll find this one on my website, everybody.
Yeah. We're talking about, years and years. The globe is about what? How many years how old is the globe? When did they know? You see? That's what I'm saying.
Oh, 2000, about 2,500, something like that. All right. So I'll set my timer for 5 minutes here. And so radius of the Earth measurement. Here we go. Starting now. Don't interrupt me. This is my turn to talk here. So here's radius of the Earth measurements. This mc2.net/r has 6 different measurements of the radius of the Earth. In particular, I want to call attention to the transcontinental triangulation, the American arc of the parallel. This is a measurement of the ground, right? They use this is from surveyors. They actually set up these series of triangles. This is a network of triangles, and all of those triangles have been measured. This is an amazing thing. It's quite nice. You see this Ibapa, Pilot Peak, Ogden Peak. That's 3 different points. They measured the angles between them. The Ibapa is 53 degrees, 38 minutes, 37.117 seconds. That's the angle between the other 2 parts of that triangle. Same thing for Pilot Peak, same thing for Ogden Peak. When you add them up, you get 180 degrees and 62.16 arc seconds. At the triangle Abapa, Pilot Peak, Deseret, when you add up all of the angles, you get 180 degrees and 39.915 arc seconds. When you add up Ibapa, Pilot Peak, and Mount Nebo, you get 180 degrees and 61.951 arc seconds. Every one of these, hundreds and hundreds of triangles in this one particular measurement of the ground, every single one of them measures more than 180 degrees. If all you're looking at is the horizontal angles, that's the azimuth angles, you get more than 180 degrees every single time. Now, we know that on a flat plane, a triangle has 180 degrees, no more, no less. On the surface of a sphere, triangles must have more than 180 degrees. And they call it spherical excess, whatever amount is more than 180 degrees. And if you're on some sort of an undulating shape like a saddle, you might have less than 180 degrees in a triangle. Every single one of these in this particular survey here has more than 180 degrees. Now, that's not the only one. I have here on mc2.net/SE handful of other surveys. We've got the Eastern Oblique Arc of the U.S. and Oscillating Spheroid from 1902. You got the Texas California Arc of Primary Triangulation from 1912. The California Washington Arc of Primary Triangulation from 1913. The Transcontinental Triangulation, the one I already referenced. And you got the Primary Triangulation of the 104th Meridian and the 39th Parallel in Colorado, Utah, and Nevada from 1914. Every one of them has multiple triangles summing to more than 180 degrees.
We don't live on it.
So when you look at that, every single one is more than 180 degrees. That cannot happen on a flat Earth. That can only happen on something that is convex. And so what shape might that be? Well, if all of them are a similar quantity over 180 degrees relative to the area inside the triangle, then the particular shape that it is spherical. And we can look at that exact thing. Let me pull it up here, because I typed in a bunch of these, and I'll pull up there it is. I have a spreadsheet, a Google Doc spreadsheet. Everybody can go look if you want. It's on sheet 2 that has the important stuff. And you can scroll down, you can find these different ones here. And the cool thing is, so I put in these different measurements: Lindstedt, Kent Iron Base, Marriott. You can scroll over here. I used some trigonometry to get the radius of the Earth for each of these triangles. And you can see It's a consistent radius of the Earth even. So not only does just looking at these particular angles show that the Earth must be convex, but it also gives you the specific radius of the Earth just looking at these triangles and the lengths of the angles and the lengths of the sides. And I'll show you quickly the formula that you can use to do that. This right here is the formula, this cosine C over R. And you can solve for R, giving right here, this is what's in that spreadsheet. So it not only does it give us the shape, but it gives us the radius. There you go. All done. Your turn. You get 5 minutes to rebut on this particular topic.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that. Quite interesting. A bunch of numbers on a sheet of paper does not reality make. That's what I'll say there, because, you've got these numbers and they're referring to triangles, but yet we do not see this curvature at all, or do we experience it? You see? So numbers, yes, you can make the numbers up for a square, for a cube, for a pyramid. You can make these numbers up. But unless we actually see and feel this curvature, you have nothing but numbers on a piece of paper. Okay, let's take these numbers outside now and let's see the curvature. Remember, Neil deGrasse Tyson is telling us that you will never see the curvature from 24 miles up off the Earth's surface. You're not going to see curvature there. We, the flat earthers, are telling you.
Where'd you go, Jin?
Anywhere. Nowhere. It's all level. Sorry?
You cut out for a second.
Sorry? Okay, can you hear me again? Sorry, I was saying that we, the flat earthers, we're not seeing curvature anywhere. And we can't see it from 24 miles up, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson. So all these numbers you have on a piece of paper, you can have numbers for a triangle, a pyramid, a cube, a hexagon. You can have these numbers, but they need to transfer into reality. We need to see this thing, and we've not seen it. Otherwise, you'd be showing me these pictures that you've taken of curvature of the Earth, numerous places. No one has it. No human being has these photographs of a curving Earth, like you said, okay? And like I said, the numbers on a piece of paper does not reality make. Just a bunch of numbers on an imaginary spherical ball, okay? The aeroplane proves that. We're not flying over any curvature anywhere, and the ships don't sail upside down under in Australia, New Zealand, and supposed Antarctica. These things are not happening. No camera image, no film image of this. So how long have I got left?
2.5 minutes.
Oh, good, 2.5 minutes. Yeah. So yeah,
on this topic,
we don't have any images of this. So your numbers are all very nice and dandy and nice charts, but unless we can actually snap these photographs and actually see this curvature properly, you don't have anything. It's just a bunch of numbers on a piece of paper. I yield the rest of my time for now.
All right. Well, when let's do this so that we're going to go into 2 minutes, up to 2 minutes back and forth. It's 9:34 right now. At 9:44, we'll be done. So I'll start with my 2 minutes.
Okay.
Here. So when I showed you video of the curve of the horizon, you said, show me the measurements, and you spoke of theodolites. So what I did is I did exactly what you wanted. I 100% gave you the exact thing that you requested. You said you wanted measurements of the curve of the Earth. I gave you measurements of the curve of the Earth. And then you said you wanted photographs of the curve of the Earth, which I showed you earlier. And when I showed you photographs, you said you wanted measurements. So I show you photographs, you say you want measurements. I show you measurements, you say you want photographs. Which is it? Clearly, what you're doing is moving the goalposts, because I gave you to the T what you asked for. You spoke of theodolites. You said that you want to have evidence from theodolites. You accept theodolites. The measurements I showed you were measured with theodolites. You rejected them because you want a photograph. Well, then I'll refer you back to the first part of my presentation, where I showed you photographs of the curve of the Earth. So the goalpost moving shows how incredibly dishonest you are, that you don't care for truth. You only want to lie and lie and lie and lie and lie and lie and lie about the shape of the earth, because when you ask for something and I give it to you, you say you want the other thing that I just gave to you. There you go. I yield.
Yeah. No, you're the liar, sir. Like I said, numbers on a piece of paper do not reality make. You're the liar. You're the one that's lying, 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 epping, lying, 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 lying. Okay? Because we do not see the curvature anywhere. It would be impossible not to encounter curvature on this earth. You are disregarding the professional pilots from that documentary called Flatten the Curve, yeah? Flight instructors, jet fighter pilots, submariners. Who else have we got? We've got the aircraft pilot, aircraft carrier, naval personnel. But not only that, we have a Japanese torpedo known as the Sansor Gyurai. It's fired at a depth of 15 feet. It travels at 40 miles per hour. It weighs 3 tons, length 9 miles, and it has no surveillance or guidance at all. It was built in 1933. It was known as the Long Lance. And when it's fired, you aim and it goes for 25 miles. The only thing is, if the Earth was curving, and like you said, then the torpedo would surface after 7 miles, but it doesn't. It destroys the enemy with devastating effect, and it has 23 kills to its name. Okay, I yield the rest of my time. That's the oxygen torpedo known as the Sansor Gyurai from 1933, Japanese torpedo, the best in the world at the time. Yield the rest of my time there.
All right. Well, once again, you avoided the topic. You specifically asked for measurements. I gave you measurements. You specifically asked for photographs. I gave you photographs. I'm holding up right here for the audience at home the photograph of the curve of the horizon taken in 1935. You wanted a photograph. There is the photograph. You wanted measurements. I gave you measurements. You changed the topic. You have to change the topic because you can't address the topic. I want to remind everybody, Jin, I want to remind you, you specifically asked for measurements. I gave you measurements and you rejected them because you said you did not want measurements. So you seem disingenuous here. It's clear, Jin, that you don't care one bit to be truthful because you asked for measurements, I gave you measurements. You asked for a picture, I gave you a picture. Every time I give you exactly what you want, you run, you move the goalposts. There you go.
Well, no, sir, I didn't. I didn't run. I didn't obfuscate. I'm right here. I dismissed your numbers because I said there were just a bunch of numbers. Yeah? A bunch of numbers does not reality make because you showed us the numbers. You showed us your photographs. And I said to you that with the photograph, not satisfied with the standard there. I would have to be there myself to see whether the thing is operating properly, first of all. So that I can actually operate that camera myself and take the shot to see if I get the same thing and see it with my own eyeballs. Your photograph is suspect. I did say that. Then your sheets with numbers on doesn't prove anything. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't prove anything. It's not that I don't want numbers. I want numbers, but the numbers you've given us doesn't prove anything. You're saying triangles. You can make numbers up for anything. Do you understand? For any shape you can make and have numbers galore. What I'm saying is let's go out into the natural world and let's see this curvature. Because when we fly in the natural world, we don't encounter curvature. Okay? Torpedoes that were fired back in 1933 proved the Earth was flat. Okay, because they were hitting their targets 25 miles away. They should have surfaced at 7. And your 1933 or 35 shot of curvature, we have Auguste Piccard, who traveled up 9 miles and saw the Earth is flat. He said it looked like a pizza with a turned up edge. 1930, 31, Auguste Piccard. And it was level, no curvature there. So I'm sorry, sir, I cannot accept what you presented. You have obfuscated. You have been dishonest. You're the liar. My integrity is intact. I stand here telling you, we don't experience curvature. It's not there. Let's go see it. No human being has photographs of it. They've never seen it with their own eyeballs, ever.
All right. All right, we're almost to the end of this. So I'll take 2 minutes. Auguste Picard actually did not say what you attributed to him. Putting words in somebody's mouth is quite dishonest. He said, if you took a ruler and you put it up against the edge, it would show the curve. That's what he actually said. The quote that you're taking...
No, he did not.
It's my turn to talk. The quote that you're talking about was unattributed. It wasn't specifically given to Picard, and it was because the portholes in the particular thing they were looking at were curved up. But again, you were not there, so you cannot accept that particular evidence. You were not on the torpedo, so you must apply your standard of evidence and must reject that at all as well. You can only accept evidence that you were personally there for, unless you want to be dishonest. Because if you demand that this particular picture that's up on the screen right now is only acceptable if you were there, then all evidence is only acceptable if you were there, because that's a standard of evidence that's consistent. If you have a inconsistent standard of evidence, it shows that you are a liar. So, I don't. What would you accept as a measurement? You demanded measurement. What would you accept as measurement? Go ahead.
Well, basically, first of all, with the Auguste Picard story, that's what we are told. And as for the torpedo, that's well documented. It's a historical fact. I've got photographs of that torpedo from Pearl Harbor. I have pictures, actual photographs of that torpedo.
But you weren't there, so you can't take it.
But I've got the photographs of the torpedo.
It doesn't matter. I have a photograph on the screen.
I've actually touched the thing.
It doesn't matter.
So, and it's well documented.
You weren't there when it was going through the water.
It was given the name Long Arc Lance by the Americans.
It doesn't matter. You weren't there.
It's a historical fact.
Yeah, you weren't there.
I don't have to be there. I wasn't born.
You do. That's your standard. If you weren't riding on it, then it didn't happen.
I wasn't alive.
Yeah, you had to be riding on the torpedo.
1939.
You had to put a saddle on it.
Of it.
You had to
you
hook it up.
You had to ride. You can go to the museum.
I'm on a torpedo. Woo! That's the only way that you'll accept evidence.
You're interrupting my time anyway. But you can actually go to the museum and actually look at these things. Do you know what I mean? You can go there and touch them. So that's just, you're being ridiculous, sir. You're the liar. Remember that.
It doesn't exist.
Remember,
everything is all fabricated. Everything you just said was fabricated.
No curvature. You're interrupting. No globe, sir. You don't have a curvature. You have no globe. No spin. No globe. Okay. And now, what would I accept as a standard? That we see you going out there and showing us the fucking curvature. That's the standard. Let's see you out there live, someone filming you, showing us the curvature.
You said measurements. What would you accept as measurements?
The boys and girls physically show us this curve.
What would you accept as measurements?
Well, you would decide the distance that you're going to decide to show us the curvature. So that'd be all yours. It's all in your court, baby. Show us the curvature. It's your ball.
Oh, sure. I got it right. I got it right here.
Elusive ball, boy. Now show me that, boy. I yield the rest of my time.
All right. Well, that's it for that section. All right. We've got questions from the audience if you want, Jin.
Yes, go ahead. Let's hear from the angry mob.
The angry mob. They're laughing. That was pretty good. Eddie Reese says, a flat earther isn't going to present anything shocking. Not.
Oh, really? Dear, oh, dear.
You didn't. So anyway,
I said that at the very beginning. My integrity is intact. I said I'll have no props. I may show one or two memes. I said that. And then I said to you that we're going to be talking about the heliocentric model and its anomalies and how it leads
you
to
have
the
no
bladder.
evidence. I got it.
That is exactly what I've stood my ground. You obfuscated from the very beginning. You were dishonest. So don't even try. All
right,
but carry on.
Many Karen says, I've never heard a second grader talk about fallacies. How odd.
Get out of here. Stop straw manning. Move on. Come
All right.
on.
Well,
Move on.
Tyler
Next
M
question.
says, just once, I'd like to see these petulant children provide some genuine positive evidence toward their claims instead of attacking the proven, verified facts of our heliocentric spherical Earth.
No proof whatsoever. No scientific evidence exists. It's all a fallacy, fantasy. You know that, and the man in the live stream YouTube there is a wally because he knows that as well. Get out of here.
All right. Stringer News 1 says, any evidence that Uranus is flat? Gillant.
Well, I don't know about your Uranus. His gob might be flattened if he's not careful. But Uranus. Anyway.
All right. Zoomy. Zoomy says, who is trying to pretend that he's not Zoomy by saying that his name is Star Sapphire Tomato Chan. It's actually Zoomy. We know you're Zoomy. Says, to paraphrase Senator Vreenak, it's a Poe. Are you a Poe? Jin, are you a Poe?
No, I am not.
There's a lot of people think you are. Kira says, hey, Jin.
Thinking is one thing, knowing is another. Believing is one thing, knowing is another, yeah? Lots of beliefs, lots of thinking, but no actual knowing. No, you've got your pudding, so you've got your plate, but no pudding, no spoon. That's what the heliocentric model is. Carry on anyway.
What do you mean pudding?
What I'm saying is that you've got your plate for the pudding, but you've got no pudding and you've got no spoon. In other words, there is no globe.
You mean dessert when you say pudding?
Yes, pudding, dessert. Yes, sorry. Yeah,
right.
I do mean dessert. Yeah.
Dr. Nimrod has got a spammer says, I has got a spammer. There you go.
Yeah.
He's
a spanner in the works.
Jolene says, objection. What grounds? It's devastating to my case.
Well done.
That movie.
Well done, Jolene.
Absolutely perfect. Pronon 1990 says, Merry Christmas tunes. Well, thank you very much for that. Pronon 1990. Got Caucasian Sensation says, what's the names of the fighter pilots on their DD-214s?
Yeah, the fighter pilots, their names are revealed in the documentary Flatten the Curve. You'll see their names, they pop up.
All right.
They speak the truth, they don't lie. And what's their motivation for lying?
All right.
They risk their profession, don't they?
Yeah, right. They should be. All right. Stringer does one. Let's see. No, Connell Silverforce says, flat earthers keep claiming they can't find curve despite numerous measurements being available. Sounds like a them problem to me.
Not necessarily, because like I said, a bunch of numbers on a piece of paper does not reality make. Let's go out there and confirm that. Where are the photographs, ladies and gentlemen?
Pat in the chat.
None of you have any.
Pat in the chat says, Titicaca for the win.
Thank you.
Do you know Titicaca is my favorite lake? It's my favorite name for a lake.
It's like ice at times. It's like a leveled, no curvature there,
baby,
and it's still like a mirror, Now,
are you a fan? Do you prefer vanilla ice or snow as for rappers?
I don't have any ice anyway. I'm not really an ice man as such.
No, vanilla ice.
Oh, I mean the musician. Yeah, he was funny when it was out at time. The musician, Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, and then there's
Ice Baby.
Yeah, there's the other rapper, Snow. Do you like Snow?
I don't know.
Informer. Informer.
Definitely no. Definitely not. Zero there. Don't like that guy at all.
Look him up.
I know the guy. No thanks.
You know him.
When I say that, I know of his music, and no thanks.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Earthrise.
Masala tea.
Earthrise says, your integrity is garbage, sir. Go back to Discord.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, he's garbage himself, but good luck.
There you go.
Don't let the door hit you on your way out.
Take that. Shovelhead Steve says, the globe is very well documented. Indeed it is.
Yes, very well documented, but doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Whereas the Japanese torpedo is very well documented.
King Cruz
does exist.
Jim,
and you can sit and touch it.
Jin, stop lying and crying like a little boy.
No one's lying and no one's crying like a little boy, but you've got to give me time to rebut as well, yeah? Thank you.
Yeah, all right.
Otherwise I'll just take it. That's the way I am.
All right.
Carry on.
Kuros says, hey, Jin, do you agree with the ignoring data while coming to a conclusion? If not, then why would you ignore the data available to us via the sky?
Unfortunately, the globe doesn't exist. So all data that has is
I see.
all made up fantasy for a globe that doesn't exist. And we know this because when we actually fly in a plane, we don't encounter curvature. It's all level. We know this.
You said that before.
Thank you.
Just to review. Jin began with a pre-selected conclusion and then rejects everything that doesn't match it. Joe Kovacs says Jen equals obfuscation and gish galloping. Hey, we did a pretty good exchange.
We had an arrangement at the beginning of this discussion/debate, and it went down quite well. I'm not accusing anyone of gish galloping. I could say that to McTune. He laid down a few points. I had to write them down. No problem.
All right. Stringer News 1 says, Jin, Toon showed you photos of the Earth from space. It's a globe. Do you have any photos of a flat Earth from space?
There's no globe there. It's not a globe.
But do you have any photos of flat Earth?
You're a delusional man.
Do you have any photos of flat Earth from space?
No, we don't make that claim that we can go to space. We don't make that claim.
You should totally try.
Flat Earthers don't make the claim. We can't go there. Thank you.
Cretan Bull says, Jin, I'm sorry, but I missed the name of the South American lake that you mentioned. Can you repeat it, please?
Lake Titicaca.
Thank you. Many Karen.
If I'm pronouncing it wrong.
No, you're pronouncing it right. I just, it's a lake I like. Many Karen says, hey, can Jin please present more caca? I think talking about Lake Titicaca.
Yes, I like the play on words there. I know what you're doing, but
all right.
I'm unfazed and unmoved by your silliness. Okay, but carry on.
This is entertaining, Jin.
I know it is.
Pat in the chat says, I gotta say, over 9 months of my memberships, Jin saying Titicaca, it might be a top 5 moment. Hilarious. It might be your accent. I don't know.
Well, don't get me wrong. It's from England, so don't worry about it. And I am an African.
Okay.
Making no excuses. That's how it is. Lake Titicaca. Okay.
You make me laugh every time. The Sun Express is Jin. The countries who defend the free world have reconnaissance satellites in polar orbits, easily trackable by anyone on the surface of our planet.
Begging the question fallacy.
These orbits are impossible on Flatardia.
How? That's begging the question fallacy. What methodology did you use to confirm they're up there? And the only way you could know that would be to go up there to see them.
You've got it. That's Jin's standard of evidence. You can only be there. You have to go there.
Yes,
that's the only way. Unless it supports his evidence, then he'll accept anything. So Saeed Ahmed says,
I reserve that right. Thank you.
Saeed Ahmed says, MC Toon, I missed the name of the lake in the Brazilian Flat Earth documentary tested. What's it called?
It's not in Brazil. It's in Peru. Peru. I did say Peru. Didn't say Brazilian.
The Brazilian documentary.
Peruvian. Peru.
But
it's in Peru. It's Lake Titicaca in Peru, not Brazil.
But the documentary was from Brazil with Bilu.
The documentary, they went to Brazil and they went to France. They spent 7 years and they never found a single degree of curvature.
I've watched it all. It is an excellent mockumentary. All right, Connell Silverfirst says Lake Titicaca.
It's a documentary. It's not a mockumentary, ladies and gentlemen. It's a documentary.
I watch it. Yeah, I stand with my claim. Connell Silverfirst says,
you stand corrected, sir. It's written
Lake
on the
Titicaca,
YouTube
yes,
flyer.
Lake Titicaca.
Thumbnail.
Why do we sing of its fame? Lake Titicaca, yes, Titicaca, because we really like saying its name. Titicaca!
Peru.
I think I know what you're getting there. Steve6464 says, Jin, are you a professional photographer? If not, how do you know if the camera is set right?
I am a good, I can use cameras. I can't call myself a professional a cameraman, but I'm an amateur camera enthusiast. And I understand lenses. I've understand them from the day we worked on the school of the pinhole camera. Okay. So I've been interested in camera and lenses. Don't worry. I'm able to, as I said to you, I'm a jack of all trades. Yeah. Master of some. So don't worry. I can work a camera.
I wasn't worried. The Sun Express says, when I say suspect, I mean, best flirt evidence.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
I got a bunch of these to go, so I need to kind of keep moving here. Kyle Silverfur says, Jin, if I have a triangle with sides measuring 1, 1, and 1, what are the internal angles?
You got a triangle of what?
A triangle with sides 1, 1, and 1.
Would that be 30 degrees? Something like that?
What are the internal angles?
30, 30, 30.
Final answer?
I'm trying to think. He says you've got 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. Hang on a second. 60, 30 degrees.
30 it is, Colonel Silverfur. 30 is his final answer. All right, we've got Many Karen says the children left you behind, Jin. Remember when you said no child left behind? That was an American thing, not a. Never mind. All right,
Colonel Silverfur. We don't leave anybody behind. There you go.
All right. Colonel Silverfur says, Jin, what's the rotational velocity of the Earth?
Well, there is no velocity and rotation. 0 is the answer. Zero. We live on a flat Earth.
What's the claimed rotational velocity?
Well, it's a 1 day rotation, one rotation in a day, and at the equator, it's supposed to be the rotation is 1,000 and supposed 38 miles per hour, with a rotation around the Earth at 660,000 miles, 660,000 miles per hour on a yearly orbit of the sun.
Yep. All right. So we've got Siggy Sigwald says, ask Jin if he can see germs or atoms or air.
Well, can you see air? I mean, that's an interesting question. Germs or atoms, I've never seen any of those in my life.
All right.
Air, no, you can see the action of air, see its action, but see it itself, I see mist, fog, dew, we breathe that in, so yeah, I see air as fog and mist, and we do breathe that in, ladies and gentlemen, so yeah, I do see air from time to time, yes. The answer would be yes.
All right.
But as for germs,
so yes, you can see air. There it is. All right. Logical Hillbilly says, I have no words for this flurf that I can say on Toon's channel. So here's $5. Thank you for that. Logical Hillbilly. Glober Bomb says, Jin, Burt Rickles put a video out today of 195 hours of a 24-hour sun at McMurdo Station in Antarctica. How is that possible if the Earth is not a globe?
No, that would be a big fabrication. 1, because the Earth isn't a globe. 2, no video exists. We've checked. The flat earthers have been looking for 7 years. 0 results. What you have is
you're affirming the consequent there.
What you have is a pork pie there, sir. Pork pie.
I see. You're affirming the consequent. Excellent. All right. Siggy Sigwald says, while you're there, ask if he remembers being hit very hard in the head when he was a kid. Who knows?
No, who knows? Lucky I'm not in the same room with him, because I'll show him how hard you can get hit on the head, though. Carry on, lucky boy. Count yourself lucky.
Matt Patak says, Jin, when your grade school teacher told you that you breathe in oxygen and out carbon dioxide, were they supposed to have a chemist to sample the air?
Actually, that is also a myth, by the way, that we don't breathe out carbon dioxide. You want to start looking at some Pete videos, and he'll explain to you how, no, we don't breathe out carbon dioxide. When you breathe in air, you breathe out air. You want to do some experience, you're behind the times, boy. You're a wally.
Pete, they are. Nobody can actually take them seriously, but you do.
They are serious, good experimenters, scientists.
Humphrey Pushcart says, Jin, what is spherical excess, and why is it part of geodetic surveys worldwide?
Yeah, it's all BS. What spherical excess is, we don't live on a ball. That's the problem, it's a nothing. Yeah. It's a fantasy. Yeah, that's what it is.
Back to the fallacy again, I guess.
It is. It's a fantasy. That's what it is.
It's a begging the question fallacy. You are beginning
It most certainly is. We don't live on a ball.
Yeah.
No
The
evidence
begging the
for it.
question fallacy is begging the question is a logical fallacy in which an argument premise assumes the truth of the conclusion. Arguments that beg the question work to
That's exactly
obscure
what
the
he's
actual
doing.
points
He's
in
doing that when he says it's a
controversy
globe.
and can
That's
be looked at
exactly
a
what that
form
man
of
is doing.
circular reasoning. No, he said, what is spherical excess? And you said
Spherical. The
it
word
doesn't exist
spherical.
because
He's
because
referring
you
to
have
the globe, though.
because you've begged the
The
question.
question is
Yeah.
referring to a globe. That's why he asked it.
All right.
Okay? So it's a begging the question fallacy. Thank you.
Let's see. Does the moon reflect off Lake Titicaca? Does the
Say
moon
that
reflect?
again?
Does the moon reflect off of Lake Titicaca?
I haven't witnessed that myself yet, so I can't answer
So
that.
we don't know. You don't know. Everybody else knows. They can figure it out, but not you. Okay. Andreas
I
Eld.
haven't been there. I haven't been there.
Andreas Eld for Gin. On the globe model, which way is down?
Again, down on a globe model, if we were living on a globe, down would be towards your feet, obviously.
Okay.
The ground under your feet.
Okay. And people in Australia?
They would be upside down from my. If I'm at the North Pole,
Yeah, but
they would
for
be
them.
down.
Hang
on. If I'm at the North Pole at the top, Australia and the Antarctica would be down under, as is referred to. That would be under the ball, wouldn't it? Under, upside down, under. Okay, antipodal.
And that is what we call
But
strongman.
remember, the Earth isn't a globe ball, though,
So,
ladies and gentlemen.
all right,
so
the
that's
jumbo
just wishful thinking.
The Jumbo Show says some NPC in Morrowind have more logic than this guy. Are you a fan of Morrowind?
Well, I mean, when you're a man who's delusional like that, you're going to think that because the truth does shock people. And this guy who's talking is just a mong, as we call him, empty head.
All right.
Carry on.
Connell Silverfur says, and now we're on the sun. Gish Gallop for the win all.
The sun is the winner, man, because we know that the sun is not 93 million miles away. How can the moon be casting the same angular shadows on a sundial that the sun does?
I await Brian's geometric proof of that. Cretan Bull says, speaking of that, Cretan Bull says, a guy named Brian says is my new favorite standard of evidence. Also, once again, I've forgotten the name of the lake in Peru. Can you remind me?
Yeah, I think you heard it. Rewind that and try it for yourself. Rewind.
I'll answer for you, Cretan Bull. It's Lake Titicaca. Stringer News 1 says, Gin. Call it the Nile dial.
No, we're going to call it the moon dial. That's what we're going to call it, the moon dial.
I think
the new black swan coming your way towards the end of the year.
Have you ever played Kerbal Space Program? You should try it.
Yes.
All right. Graybeard says, in America, we learned why Aristotle thought the Earth was a globe and learned about Galileo, Copernicus, Kepler, and Newton. Did they not teach these things to you in Great Britain?
Yes, we learned them in Britain. We learned them in Nigeria. It's all fantasy. We know that. There is no globe. Okay? And Christopher Columbus didn't discover a country that was already there. You don't discover things that are already there. Don't be silly.
Saeed
and he was the worst man of a scumbag that lived.
Said, Jin, I don't believe your education levels. You expect us to believe that your science teachers made claims with zero evidence, maths to back up claims,
zero evidence,
etc. You really expect us to believe that?
No tangible physical evidence, which is what you have. You can have a menu for chicken korma, but if you don't actually eat the chicken korma, what is good is the menu.
I'll have one, please. Can I also have chicken makhni?
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh man, now I'm hungry. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go tomorrow. Anybody in Minneapolis want to go to an Indian buffet tomorrow? Let's do it. Connell Silverfur says, Gin, 10 to the negative 17 torr is a negative pressure. So the question is 10 to the negative 17 a negative number?
10 to the negative 17, a negative number. Yeah, I don't quite understand that number. I would say it's a negative number. Yeah, of course it is. 10 to the 17 negative, yeah, it's a negative number. It's not a positive number, is it?
Final answer?
That's my answer.
All right, there it is, Connell. Siggy Sigwald says, Jimmy, darling, Jimmy darling, level and flat are not synonymous.
Ah, yes, they are, pal. That's where you're wrong. Stop your pseudoscience doublespeak.
The wall behind me
You
is
can have a
flat.
flat, leveled surface. Don't be silly. Any
the wall behind me
carpenter
is flat.
and any engineer will tell you that. So you fell there.
Jin, the wall behind me is flat.
And it can also be plumb level. Plumb level. Yes. Thank you.
Plumb level.
Plumb true. Yeah.
Plumb or level, which is it? They're not the same.
It can be plumb level.
Okay. You're making up new stuff. All right, I love it. Many Karen says, hey, Jin, if the moon is directly above, it should cast shadows at a different angle than when the sun is directly above, based on distance?
Exactly.
He's asking.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Serious. You seriously are going to go with that?
I'm definitely going to go with that. 93 million miles away, it's gonna cast different shadows. Definitely. Can't be casting the same.
Amazing geometry, people. Amazing. I can't wait for this breakthrough geometry from a man named Brian.
Absolutely.
Always look on the bright side of life. Humphrey Pushcart says,
always look at the right side of life, mate.
Humphrey Pushcart says, Jin, a number of universities offer degrees in orbital mechanics. How many universities offer any degrees in any area of flat earthology? Like Lake Titicaca is beautiful this time of year.
Yeah, whatever. The degrees are the problems because you're living in a pseudoscience world. That's where you belong at this point. That's where you are.
What is pseudoscience? Okay?
You're in a pseudoscience world of Newtonian madness.
What is pseudoscience?
And Einstein lunacy is where you're living currently.
Jin, what is pseudoscience?
It's science that's pretending to be science.
Yeah, but what's the demarcation between science and not science?
It's science that is purporting to be, it's pseudoscience, which is fake science.
Yeah,
science that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you've said that before.
The heliocentric model. The heliocentric model.
You're begging the question, but what is the actual demarcation between science and not science?
Well, it must fit the reality that we live, of course. Science represents
has to fit your
the
pre-selected
reality
conclusion?
we live. It has to adhere to the scientific method, okay? And that scientific method must follow the reality we live in. If it's not, it's rejected. That is what pseudoscience is.
So if it doesn't match, just to be clear, if it doesn't match your pre-selected conclusion, it's pseudoscience.
Match the reality we live outside. God's law, natural reality.
All right. Well,
not mine.
See, I have this here, which seems to be what you follow. But anyway, so Freelance Minion says, is Lake Titicaca on the Flurf bingo card now?
You tell me.
It's not. It's not. You're missing a couple, by the way. Just so you know, you're missing a couple. Eddie Reese says, I accuse Jin of the fallacy.
Oh, really? Says the most retarded man just speaking there.
Eddie Reese is the most retarded man. That's quite a high thing, because I have heard Terry R. Eischer talk. So
if he thinks he's on a globe, he's delusional. He needs help. He needs to visit a flat earth psychiatrist. Don't go to your regular ones because they're going to be heliocentrists.
But there are none. There are no flat earth psychiatrists.
We are. The flat earthers are your psychiatrists, your guides to the truth, your counselors.
We gotta finish. All right. Davy Clarets says, who discovered fire? When was it? Who was there? Was there a side view? Provide all this information or concede that fire does not exist.
That's down to you. Ludicrous straw man. That is none of my claims. But anyway, I'd like to give a few shout outs now because we're moving on. I've got to get ready myself.
I'm not done yet.
Yeah, but hang on. Look, I gave you a schedule and you made the rest of the time. You made the mess up with the time. So now I'm going to take my time now. Okay. Now, I'd like to say a big thank you to the 24/7 Flat Earth Discord University, who taught me a lot of things that I've learned so far. Also, the Earth Awakening server. They're good. That's Geo is controlled there. Then we've got the debate Flat Earth and More with Gem Panda. I've been there a lot, and I've argued my cases and put them under the grill, I would say. Then there's the Flat Earth Debate Science versus Pseudoscience, where you find Nathan Oakley and Quantum Eraser presiding there. A great place to learn about the flat Earth. Then there's the PLM server. There are a young bunch of British people there. If you want to have a discussion on any topic you like, go there and learn and enjoy yourselves. Then there's a person by the name of Queen of the Trolls. She was instrumental, together with Captain BS, in making sure that the debates that I had in the Gem Panda server, that's the debate, Flat Earth and more, was level and honest and clean, right? Well, thank you very much, Queen. Then there's the Generism,
Thought you were done.
Eric Dubay, Dave Murphy, Harry from the Globe Live Tour, John Smith, right? Who else am I missing out here? One more.
Nobody, you got them all.
Let's Celebrate Truth Gang, Globe Busters, of course. Who else? I'm missing out.
Tanner Stewart.
Oh, yeah, Mark Sargent.
Tanner Stewart.
Dave Weiss, of course. Thanks for all the effort you've done.
You forgot
It's been a good
Tanner.
year. We're going to end on a high note. And thanks for all the work you have done. Keep up the work. Thanks a lot.
All right. You missed Tanner Stewart.
Who?
And Mark Braun. Yeah. Tanner Stewart, the guy that paid for the Level documentary.
Okay, whatever. You can mention him if you like.
All right. Well, there it is. Yeah. I mean, Flat Earthers love him. He's a Satanist. Don't tell them. They don't.
Yeah, well, I mentioned the level, but the main one you really want to watch is level 1, level 2, and the flattening the curve.
That's level. The ones. Yeah, the level. That's the ones done.
The full documentary.
All right. I got. If you want to stick around, you can. But I got to do this because I got Nick Reese coming up in a minute here, and I'm 12 minutes over that already. So, Stringer News 1 says Jin, red tape disproves nothing. And we've got PhD Tony says Einsteinian and Newtonian gravity are identical for Earth-bound systems. There has been hundreds of experimental verifications of Einsteinian and Newtonian gravity. And
but their theories only that aren't proven. And if it's unproven, it's not a scientific fact. So therefore, you can throw them in the toilet.
Jin, this isn't your chance to spread more derp. This is just
okay. Well, goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.
All right,
I rest my case.
Thanks. Thank you for resting your case. PhD Tony says seismic energy travels from the epicenter to the antipode and back again through multiple cycles. This is utterly inconsistent with the flat Earth. And PhD Tony, I love that video that you did recently of that. I wonder if we could get Joss Lays to animate that both on a flat Earth and on a globe. If Joss, look at that video from PhD Tony. It's his recent one. There's a series of, I think, 3. It's the first one where he shows the locations of the seismometers as they receive the earthquake propagation. That would be really cool to see on that map that you've done. Manny Karen says, shows him a picture. He denies the picture. Show him measurements. He demands a picture. Exactly. It's this obvious dishonesty. He does not care. He has this anti-scientific method that he was following to a T. He selected a required conclusion. He will only accept supporting evidence, and he automatically refutes all contradictory evidence, and then declares that his pre-selected conclusion has been undeniably proven. So just a moment. Why would I accept something that doesn't support the life that we live? I mean, come on. Of course, you reject everything that you don't like. Yeah, we got it. It's the dishonest.
If it doesn't fit
the
our
dishonesty
reality,
of flat
we don't
earthers
accept
is
it.
on display. That's what it is. Yeah. You reject everything you don't like. All right, 2A
No, we
HD
reject
cat.
things that don't fit the reality. Stop straw manning.
Jin.
Come on.
I mean, you can hang up or whatever, but I'm not going to
No,
kick
I'm
you.
going to be listening because you're lying at the moment. Here we go.
All right.
You're going to lie. I'm going to jump in, man.
2A HD cat says for $2, titty caca. Check email. I will, but not right now. I'll check it after. 2A HD cat. Eddie Reese says for $2, the goalposts are not even on the field anymore. They are rocket powered. They're in orbit around the globe is what they are.
Keep dreaming.
Siggy Sigwald says, Jinbo, if you keep moving those goalposts, you're going to fall off the edge of the earth.
There is no edge. Who says that? Who's made that claim? That's a fallacy from the heliocentric model that doesn't exist. There you go.
Siggy Sigwald says,
but you can't fall off a ball, yeah? So you can't fall off a ball, though, yeah?
All right.
Really funny.
There we go. All right. Sorry, Jen. Siggy Sigwald says, Toon, let's donate all the super chats so we can put Jimbo in on a rocket and launch him to space. He'll say, that's a begging the question fallacy because it contradicts his pre-selected conclusion. Saeed Ahmed says, Jin, how can the camera be suspect when you're not there to see the camera in person? How does that make sense? It doesn't. It was just the straw he grasped to deny that evidence. Many Karen says the moon landing is a historical event, right, Jin? Attested by the Russians, right, Jin? Indeed it was. But Jin, in his incredible buckets of denial, can just dump some buckets of denial on it and therefore make it not happen. So Industrial Nerd says, I've loved to join the next debate, but NASA called me in to fix a hole in the dome. Looking forward to our time together next week. Yes. So Industrial Nerd is joining me next week, who I'm getting a little bit of Poe vibes. So you might want to, I don't know. Brian Peck says, story about Jin and reading. He admitted not long ago that he hasn't read a book in years, and he read a couple of pages of Bill Casing's book. Now, Bill Casing's book, On a Pale Horse, I have right over there. Yeah, Behold a Pale Horse. Is that it? Hold on. Be right back. Oh, no, that's not it. It's Cooper. That's Cooper, William Cooper. Casing. Who's Casing? I forgot. I'm forgetting that. Why did I get them confused? Sorry about that. So, Stringer's one says, careful, Jin, your heart monitor is going nuts. Kyle Silva first says, why doesn't Jin apply the same standard of evidence to the flat earth that he does to the heliocentric model? Well, that's easy. Gotta light a flurf. Absolutely. Flat earth is lies upon lies. King Crew says, for the love of Lake Titicaca. Thank you, King Crew. I do love Lake Titicaca. RT96 says, was Jin in the Red Bull capsule? If you weren't in the Red Bull capsule, Jin, you cannot use it as evidence for anything. You must automatically reject it. In fact, if you weren't in the audience when Neil deGrasse Tyson said those things that he said, you can't use it. Your standard of evidence. Stream News 1 says documentary, mockumentary. It's not Scottish. Seriously. I watched that Convex Earth documentary. They are faking it. You can tell. Because there's things on screen where you can see what they're actually doing. Like it's definitely faked, and the things that some of the evidence that they did wouldn't even match. It's clear that they're kind of making these things up because they seem to have some background to it, but then they misapplied things. So Matt Patak says, Jin, the Pearl Harbor torpedo is from 1941, designed for shallow water, not from 1933. Can you name any of the carriers or battleships involved? Well, like all flat earthers, he doesn't understand the mechanics of how these things work. A torpedo isn't going to fly out of the water. It's not an airplane. It's at a certain buoyancy level, and it's going to stay at that buoyancy level. So, all right, Brian Prack for $2 is genius, but a genius. Absolutely. Brian Peck again says not a genius, but genius. Yes. Black Sabbath. Oh, Black Sabbath. Big fan. I saw you back when Dio was singing for you as Heaven and Hell. Says if you put pathological liar into your GPS, you'll end up in Jin's driveway. Indeed. Oh, he's still there. I took the earbuds out, so I can't hear him. Scott Evans says, Jin, go to a local airport, ask for an introductory flight, ask the pilot to explain and demonstrate VHF limitations. You cannot speak to a distant radio until you're at the correct elevation. That's because the curvature of the Earth. All right, my goodness, people. I got another debate coming up here with Nick, so be ready for that one. I worked on a presentation just for Nick, and he said he's going to have one for me. So we'll see. DDR Ninjet says, I work on satellites for a living. The conspiracy goes deep. My bosses, their bosses, my education, the book writers, the software. It's insidious. It has to be. The number of people involved and the amount of expertise in the math that they do to somehow fake it all is beyond. It's amazing. Global Mom says, not a sir, and the video came out today. Burt Rickles. Yeah, how could he reject evidence he's not seen? I present to you the process that Jin applies to all evidence. Right there. Up on screen. Star Sapphire Tomato Chan says, anyone who takes Pete and repeat seriously is an idiot. And I'm going to say that again. Anyone that takes Pete and Pete seriously is an idiot. Absolutely. Shovelhead Steve. I can't believe he actually takes him seriously. Shovelhead Steve says, can you tell time with a moon dial? You probably could. I mean, you'd need to know where in the orbit around the Earth the moon is at the time. Connell Silverfur says, plumb level. Sounds like Jin is plumb dumb. Seriously, it's not plumb level. The wall behind me is not level. It's flat. And I can tell you, because this bookshelf, the wall's not plumb either. The wall is not plumb. This part of the house doesn't have a basement. It's on we have a crawl space underneath, and the foundations are a little unlevel, if you would. Mr. QTube first name Fast says, Jin isn't qualified to debate the shape of an A19 light bulb. That's a begging the question fallacy. Delco says, any engineer is telling you you're wrong. When these flat earthers, they're so confident they've been in their echo chamber for so long that they're like, go talk to any whoever. They'll say these things that support me. No, they won't. You will find a couple pilots that did not do navigation. Maybe. They don't understand navigation. They might. Yeah. They didn't understand what they were doing and how they got there. They didn't need to. It wasn't part of their job. You might find a couple surveyors that say it, but they don't understand their job either. The surveyors don't understand why, when you do a foresight backsight, you have the same distance between them from the point you're occupying. They don't know why that is. There's a reason for that. And they also don't know why on one end you subtract, on the other end you add. They don't know why they're doing that. So, String News 1 says, FE psychiatrist, you mean a phrenologist, Jin? Love that. Siggy Sigwald says, can I make arrangements to debate this guy in your channel tune? I'll show up drunk and high to try to level the playing field for him. I cannot support such behavior, Siggy. String News 1 says, Flurfs think Wile E. Coyote physics is real. I think that's true. That's true. And then we've got the last one here. Matt Patak says, call out for Craig after the sad news last night. What was the sad news? I missed it. I might know what it is, but I wasn't able to listen to his stream. He's suffering a lot of pain. And yeah. All right. So he has an amputation surgery coming up. So Craig, it's going to be a challenge. And the pain that he's going to have after that too is going to be quite something. So Craig, we're with you. So, all right. Oh yeah. Phrenologist is someone who learns things about by giving you lumps on your, phrenologist. So, all right. Well, thank you, Jen. All right. I'll put the earbuds back in and Jen, if you all right, Jen, I can hear. Thank you. You're still there, I see. But thank you, Jen. And I have another one with Nick just in a second
Okay,
here.
I'm gone now. I'll be leaving right now. Thanks for everything.
All right.
We must do this again. We must do this again. It was good.
Certainly. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Stick around for the next one with Nick in just a couple minutes. Bye.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye, good luck, and have a good time. You're on a flat earth. There's no ball, no curvature. Don't be silly. Start living real. Bye.